So it's been a while since we made a video on Delta Force. There hasn't really been a whole lot going on with the game. Until now, Season 3 is right around the corner. It's going to be releasing on the 21st of April, along with the mobile release. So in this video, I've got a breakdown of the latest live stream from the Delta Force team. There's a lot to go over here, some new content, new quality of life improvements as well, of course the mobile launch, and then some more stuff looking ahead to the future. So let's be quick and concise about it. Without further ado, if you guys enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure you are subscribed. I am going to continue to cover Delta Force whenever they release anything interesting. And then, of course, later on this year, there's going to be a lot of interesting Battlefield stuff to go over too, so make sure that you are subbed up for that. So first of all, let's talk about the quality of life improvements. So they've added some various different difficulties for the operation maps. So some of them are permanent and some of them are going to be rotational, but you should have a greater variety there to choose from. The kill cam as well is also on the way. No exact date when that one is going to be out yet, but I think that should help people at least like recognizing if you've been killed from a cheater, especially in the operations mode again. So that's definitely good to hear. And this one here wasn't really like on my bingo card, if I'm honest with you, but that is enhanced sound directional recognition. So basically footstep sounds have been much improved in Delta Force. Just have a listen to this now. So if you've played Delta Force before, you couldn't really ever hear when somebody was on the same level as you, above you, below you. You really just didn't have a clue because the footstep sounds didn't have any of that bass to them to create that barrier there between the different stories of a building. Whereas now they do. I think it sounds really, really good, and it's, you know, very apparent whether somebody is at least on the same level as you. Okay, this one is kind of interesting because Delta Force have been back and forth on the rank mode. So they put rank mode in there. Everybody thought it was a real rank mode with skill-based matchmaking. Then it turned out that it actually doesn't have any impact whatsoever on the skill-based matchmaking, but that there was actually skill-based matchmaking in the game anyway, even though they deny it. But now they are actually implementing a leaderboard system in Warfare for the rank mode. So as you gain merit, which is the resource that you acquire as you rank up and get through the levels, you're going to work your way up this leaderboard. There's also going to be one for the operations mode. What kind of rewards we're going to get from this, we don't really know yet, but I just found that kind of funny. They've actually decided to make rank mode, well, a ranked mode. Now, for you Operation players out there is going to be a new map, basically a twist on Zero Dam. It's called Operation Blackout, and as you can tell, it's going to be a night map, so there's going to be night vision goggles. You're going to have to bring those with you, and I believe the NPCs on the map are also going to be equipped with night vision goggles too, so it's not just going to be like a complete cakewalk for you. You are actually going to be fired back at. I believe there's going to be different sort of varying tiers of night vision devices that will give you enhanced visual clarity, that sort of thing. They didn't really go too much in detail on this yet, but overall it looks like a nice little addition. Okay, so with that said, let's move on to the main meat of the Season 3 update. And one of the biggest parts is clearly going to be the new operator, which is a guy called Nox. Now, you will be forgiven for thinking that this guy's main ability would be night vision goggles, since he has a pair on his face, and that would certainly go hand in hand with the night maps that they have. But actually, he doesn't apparently have night vision goggles. What he has is a tactical flashbang, then he's got this whirlwind disc, which sounds super cheesy. It locks onto enemies and explodes, releasing blades that then damage and slow down enemies, and it also leaves a bleed effect on them. So think of this as a mine, and when somebody walks past it, it will sort of latch onto them or start following them, track them around, and once it connects, it will explode, do a load of damage, etc. Sounds like a major pain in the arse, basically like a claymore mine from hell, but I guess we'll see how that one plays out. And then his special ability here is called Silent Assault, and it says that it activates jammers that minimize the range of sound propagation and disrupt signals to enemy recon equipment to prevent them from precisely locating Nox. So the way that I interpret this is that he makes less sound when he's running, although they didn't specifically say that. But in the Warfare mode, basically, if any recon operators, such as Luna, fire her scanning arrow in the air, you're presumably not going to be spotted by that kind of stuff. So that actually could be pretty useful. Then we have 3 new weapons coming to the game as well. The K437, which I believe is an assault rifle. Then we've got the 725 double barrel shotgun. And then Dragon's Breath, which sadly is only for the operations mode. I think it would have been a little bit too overpowered for Havoc Warfare, and that's why they've made it operations only. If you're wondering what it is and you can't tell by the video there, it's basically incendiary rounds, which appear to be for the 725 double barrel shotgun here. Not sure if they're also going to be available for other weaponry, but I have to say the visual effects on these look very cool. Now, this next feature here is obviously another sort of rip-off of Battlefield, but nevertheless came as a surprise. So they're actually putting in Commander mode, which is only going to work, I believe, in this new time-limited mode called Victory United. So it's going to be 20 versus 20, and apparently only players of general rank and above can participate. So I think what they mean there is only players of general or above can apply to be the commander. And this is going to be a special role that you get elected for that can greatly support your faction. So you're going to get a voice chat, like presumably some special voice chat channel where you can talk to your entire team. You're going to get field markings, whatever those do. And then you're also going to get call-in attacks like UAVs, probably some sort of missile or artillery strike. And of course, you're going to be able to do things like highlighting certain enemy soldiers or vehicles as HVT targets and basically giving your squad instructions to where they should be going and who they should be killing and what they should be doing. Pretty much the Battlefield 4 system, it sounds like, if you've ever played that game. They then have another new event coming to the Threshold map, and this is just an absolutely massive Levolution event. Basically, the entire corner of this particular building here, which is generally the last, well, it is the last flag or the last objective that you capture in the breakthrough mode, the attack defend mode. I forget what it's actually called in Delta Force. But as you can see, half the building just caves away, and judging by the left screenshot there, it just sinks down into the ocean. So this is either going to be very, very cool, but terrible gameplay-wise, or it's going to be really, really good. I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to experiment around with that when we play it, but we know from Levolution in Battlefield 4 that it didn't really turn out to be the greatest map-building decision ever for some of the maps. Now, this one is even more weird. They are bringing a Flamethrower into the Havoc Warfare mode. So, don't get me wrong, I think this looks really cool, and it's not every day that you see a Flamethrower in a modern day FPS, especially not one which has this military vibe to it like Delta Force does. I do have questions, a lot of questions. How is this going to compete against weapons that can fire hundreds of meters across the battlefield with basically no spread and very little recoil? I have no answers for you there, guys. I guess they're going to try and compensate by maybe having this, you know, because it goes out in a line, you can affect multiple targets at once with it. So perhaps it's to use down corridors, although here we can see somebody giving a demonstration outside on the Ascension map where you probably get absolutely flanked to death by the enemy team in this situation. Nevertheless, looks really cool. Can't wait to give it a try. Then we have a new tank coming to the game. This is the GTQ-35. It is a fast-moving light tank, and it has lock-on shells. They call them 105mm cannon-launched missiles, but for all intents and purposes, they are homing shells, as you can see by the footage here, and it's not the kind of homing shell in like BF4 where they actually have like a lock-on or something. You just fire them close to the vehicle, and they literally bend the laws of gravity and just hit the tank. So this is going to be incredibly overpowered if a tank is pillaring just over some terrain, or just under some terrain, I should say, and you can presumably then fire this over the top of them and it will do like a top-down attack. I don't know, this seems kind of overpowered to me. They're probably going to be weaker than the AP rounds, I would assume, but yeah, again, gonna have to get my hands on that one and give it a try before I pass judgment. So that is basically all of the content for the third season. However, on the same day, also on the 21st of April, we do have the mobile client launching on Android and iPhone as well. And from what they said here, it sounds like they're actually going to have crossplay with PC. Don't ask me how that's going to work as well, because I can only assume that if you're playing on a mouse and keyboard, you are going to absolutely crap all over anybody who is playing with a phone screen. I mean, how can you not, right? Like, I've tried to play shooters on my phone before, and whilst I could play maybe some sort of a single-player game, even that frustrates me. We're going to see how that turns out. Basically, it's getting all the same content that we have in the PC client. So we do have 7 maps for Warfare, so we don't have the new ones, I think, there. 4 maps for Operations, 10 Operators, 12 Vehicles, and 55 Weapons. And it seems like they say it's PC synced content, so that sounds like you can just log in with your regular old account and basically have, cross progression there as well. Also, for the system requirements here, they are pretty low. So the minimum requirements here for an iOS phone is like an iPhone 6s. I don't even remember when the iPhone 6 came out, to be honest. I'm guessing like most people have a phone that's at least that good. So if you don't have a PC and you're looking to play Delta Force, even if you really wanted to play it on console, then this might be a welcome distraction, at least until that happens. Now, moving on to the last section of the live stream, this is going to be about looking towards the future. Well, I tell a lie, they did also have a section about cosmetics, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that. So the first thing of note for the operations mode is that they're going to have this new prison-themed map. It says Extraction 2.0 here. It's called Jailbreak, The True Escape. So no more solid details on that yet, but it sounds like it could be pretty fun. And then for the Warfare mode, we have what they are calling a multi-dimensional land, sea, and air showdown. So clearly this is an island map. Looks very, very reminiscent to me of Operation Mortar from one of the Battlefield 4 DLCs, in fact. So we've got attack helicopters flying in here. You can see missiles, presumably launching from aircraft carriers there in the background. I think they did mention that they have aircraft carriers, so if you're thinking you're going to see attack boats and something of that nature, like naval military vessels, I don't think there's going to be anything along those lines, and I'm not really sure what they're going to do with the aircraft carriers either. But clearly that also means that we're not actually getting any new maps with the new season. Like, we're getting the new operator, we're getting 3 new weapons, and then there are some limited time events coming in, like the one with the commander mode and also the night mode for operations, but there are no actual new maps, which I would say is, generally speaking, the biggest part of the content. So a little bit miffed to see that we aren't getting anything on the 21st, but hopefully these two aren't going to be far behind. Now, another big surprise here, they are investing $20 million into a global Delta Force Esports Initiative across 6 different regions around the world, and the Delta Force Global League, as they're calling it, is going to start in April, and then it's going to ramp up further into the year. We don't have any other details than that. Is this all going to be official stuff? Is there going to be any sort of like grassroots stuff around this? Third-party tournaments? Like, what teams are going to be taking place? Is this going to be for Warfare? Is it going to be for Operations, or both? We don't really know that yet, but it sounds cool. I like it. And then in the same vein here, almost like to kick things off, we have the Asian Champions League, which is going to take place on the 17th and the 18th of May. And that is going to be for Thailand, Korea, China, and Japan, with a $100,000 prize pool. So if you're interested in watching some professional Delta Force, then you won't have to wait too long. Now, finally, we do have some promising news for console players. Nothing solid, so don't get your hopes up. But what they have said here is, console players, we got you covered. So, first of all, there is going to be a dedicated chat on the Delta Force Discord for routine updates and progress in regards to the console release. So they're not giving us a release date yet, but they have said they are soon going to be launching the store pages for the Delta Force game on both the Xbox and the PlayStation Store. So you'll be able to go over there and wishlist the game. They are also close to completion for the controller support. So here they gave a little bit of a demo showing somebody playing the game on an Xbox controller. Looks pretty good to me. Why they can't actually just go ahead and release it, I have no idea. I'm not a developer, but they're probably just ironing out some bugs, but it looks like it's not far off, guys. Well, that is about gonna do it, guys. That was quite the loaded video there. A lot more information came out of Delta Force than I expected. It's kind of weird because they've just been almost radio silent. Like, they started off really, really strong. They had all these different events and lots of content, and there was going to be new updates every couple of months or every month or so, and then they just kind of went radio silent and put their heads down, and now it looks like they've kind of come back in a big way. So whilst again I'm kind of miffed to see that we don't get any maps for the new season, we do get a smattering of content. It's nice to see something and I will be jumping in most likely on April 21st and checking it out for myself. Guys, as always, leave me your thoughts below, subscribe for more Delta Force, and I will see you guys in the next one.